Trap number 9, getting hurt and turning pessimistic. Alright, well, we're going to talk right now about the women ain't shit people. So who are the women ain't shit people? Well, this starts with the people who get hurt in relationships and turn pessimistic. Now, yes, that's both men and women that get hurt. But men with relationships or just bad experiences with women will turn pessimistic. You see, if you get hurt in a relationship that you thought was everything, yes, it's going to turn you pessimistic, especially if it's an early relationship. Okay? As a man, that woman's setting a certain template for what you expect a woman to be. And it's not necessarily a good one if you're with the wrong woman or you're there prematurely, because that woman may not be mature enough to give you a good representation. That woman may have not been mature enough to be a quality girlfriend or wife to you. So you go out into the world and you look at women, and women ain't shit, and women don't want to sleep with you. Women are sleeping with all these other dudes, and women are playing you, and women are backstabbing you, and women don't care, and women will just use you, and women are deceptive, and women are whores, and women are sluts, and all that stuff. You turn pessimistic because the guy, and I'm speaking specifically about men here, get into a relationship that they were not ready to be in. They weren't ready to deal with their end of things in terms of how they should treat a woman or how they should hold themselves in front of a woman, how they should demand respect or be able to represent themselves in a way where it warrants respect. They, as so many men, got into a relationship because it was available, it was there, and it was a form of settlement, which I'll speak about a little bit later. When it's an early relationship, especially if you're a man that struggles with getting women or talking to a woman, that's something you can get so locked into and so dependent on because you've never had a real girlfriend. And especially if y'all move in together, especially if y'all have kids together, if that relationship ends, and let's say she's the one to break up with you, and let's say even worse, she breaks up with you because she cheated on you and she wanted to leave with some other dude, or maybe she didn't cheat on you, but she wants to leave and just ultimately hook up with a dude that she perceives as better because she just didn't like being with you, and maybe you thought everything was good and you thought everything was perfect. Well, now you go back out into the world and you're back on the dating market, and this time you're looking at all these other women as potential women that will do you the same way that your ex-girlfriend or your ex-wife did you. And this is something that can really be a heavy weight on your shoulders because you're going out there and you have no real reason or no reference experience to look at the women in the bars or look at the women in the clubs as if they're going to treat you any differently than your ex-girl, especially if you consider these girls to be a higher caliber than your ex-wife or your ex-girlfriend was. Now you have all the reason in the world to believe you can't get any of these women. And because this is what you're feeling inside and this is at a base level, let's keep it real. When it comes to most men, men already start with a low base level of confidence when it comes to talking to women anyway. So if you've already had a bad experience in a relationship that seemed to validate all this, then all of that intensified. And this is stuff that's at a base level, at least that's the root of it. But you have all the intensification that comes from the experience with your ex-wife or your ex-girlfriend. So that's just adding on to a base level of low confidence. And how's that going to result when you go back on the dating scene, whether that's in the club or whether that's at the bar or whether that's out and about in friend groups? It's going to result in energy that emanates from you that says to the woman, I don't deserve you, or you're going to treat me like shit, or I think you're going to treat me like shit. And she's going to receive this subconsciously. She's going to know you either don't really value her or you don't think you're worthy of her. But either way, she's not going to be receptive to your advances because you're not giving the type of energy that she's looking for. And this is part of the result of getting in a relationship prematurely or when you're not ready and getting torn down in the relationship, getting beat down in the relationship. And this may have nothing to do with the woman you were with. Maybe your woman was a great woman, but you were just a shitty dude. Or maybe you were a good dude and the woman you were with was shitty. But even if the woman you were with was shitty, that's still your fault for ending up with her in the first place. You created that situation for yourself. See, a lot of this stuff, of course, gets solved with, can I hear it? Can I hear it? Internal work. Internal work. And why do I keep saying internal work? Because when you go within and you fix the shit that's going on within, the energy that you send out into the world, the frequency that you send out into the world brings back to you what you would consider to be more so your ideal reality, your ideal manifestations, okay? Because you're emanating BS, which is why you get so much BS in your life. And yes, this is connected to relationships too. So it doesn't matter if you're an incel. It doesn't matter if you think I'm full of shit. It doesn't matter if you don't care about what I'm saying to you. It doesn't make anything that I'm saying less true. If you suck And you could suck because you literally believe you suck, or you could suck because you believe all women suck. Either way, you still suck. Well, guess what? You're just going to manifest and continue to manifest in perpetuity a shitty reality. On and on and on and on and on. Women ain't shit and this and that. If you believe that, that's where your head's at. If you just have an extremely narrow mind, an extremely limited mind frame, it means you're obviously low consciousness. It's common sense would just tell you, with just a little bit of consciousness, like, hey, wait a second. There's 4 billion women in the world. I'm sure they're not all shitty. But men want to make that excuse good because there are men that really are shit. There are men that are severely overweight. I'm not trying to diss the men that are severely overweight, but there are men that are severely overweight and out of shape and have no intent or interest in getting in shape, and then they just want to hit on women because of that. Or there are men that maybe they're not out of shape, but maybe they don't think they look ideal because maybe they're balding, have a receding hairline, or maybe their hair is perfectly fine, but maybe they're too scrawny or they think they look too old or whatever it is, but they find a way to connect that to an issue with women or women just not liking them. But you have to understand, this is self-perpetuating, okay? If you believe this at some level, then you're just perpetuating it to the extent where you're going to get that back every time you talk to women. And it's not just when you talk to women, when you engage with them, which you probably never do because you're already believing all that shit about women in the first place. So you have no reason to even try to engage them. But when you go online, this is how deep it goes. When you go online, what your brain's going to register is everything you see online that validates what you already believe about women. So this just reinforces the cycle and you continue to think that women ain't shit and women this and that and women belong in the kitchen and blah, 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 blah. Because even with the 1950s and 60s way of looking at women in terms of them needing to be in the kitchen and them needing to iron the shirt or them just needing to take care of the kids and them not going out and handling their own business and having their own job, that's just rooted in insecurity. You need women to be around, to be a certain way so you can feel more like a man. But a woman's not going to validate you as a man if you don't act like a man. Okay? Because to be frank, you can't act like a bitch and expect to get treated like a man. And I'm just talking about the energy you give off, the insecurity. Listen, there was a time that women scared the shit out of me. There's never a hatred for it. Ultimately, there was just a focus on, okay, what do I have to prove inside myself so I can have more confidence around women? And ultimately, with this work, this was something that went so deep beyond simply improving myself to be better with women. This improved me to the extent where I was able to greatly expand my love for all women. Not saying I didn't have love for women and an appreciation of women beforehand, but after I started doing this work, when I really was just getting deep into this for 6 months and a year and a half and 2 years, the love I felt for women expanded greatly because I was just getting more connected with them in terms of them as human beings, but them as the essence of God and them as the essence of source and just what's so wonderful about them. And I was gaining an appreciation that went far deeper than just their beauty on a physical level, okay? I was gaining a greater appreciation for them as women, for them as caregivers, for them as being compassionate, for them as humans that I actually consider to be more intelligent than men. All right, because at the end of the day, women are, in my opinion, on average, more intelligent than men. I think part of it is the emotional aspect in terms of how they interpret the world, how they interface with the world. Now that's a whole complex, different dynamic, but what I'm ultimately saying is women have enough of a connection to intuition and to emotion and an ability to be compassionate, which in itself actually allows them to have a greater capacity for intelligence when it comes to handling situations. But that's a whole separate topic. Ultimately, when it comes to the women ain't shit people, these are just people that are insecure, and these are just people that don't know how to talk with women and see women through a certain lens. So this, yes, can get reinforced through a bad relationship. And honestly, for a lot of these people who are incels, you're lucky if you actually ever had a serious relationship with a woman to an extent where you could be damaged after you left the household or apartment you lived with them in, or be damaged after you were just in a long-term relationship with them. And here's why I say that. Because a lot of these men never had any serious relationship with women. So at that point, if they were already the type that were destined to be an incel before the shit hit the fan with their relationship, then once that relationship is done, They're done. At least they had a relationship. But for the people who were never incels but ended up becoming more pessimistic after the relationship with their woman, well, obviously there's still a lot of hope for them. They just have to be willing to put in internal work, get themselves to an internal place energetically where they can actually start attracting the type of woman they want, and they'll be good to go. Okay, but here's the thing about it too. The power of your mind to color your reality and make a reality seem so hardened and fixed in place as one solitary thing that cannot be changed, that cannot be altered, is truly unconscionable, because the persistence of the solidity of the illusion of your reality is so endless, just on and on, day after day. It seems the same way, and you get validated in your beliefs when it comes to women or whatever negative ideas over and over and over again, that you truly believe that reality is one way. That is the power of your mind, and that gets dealt with deep internal work. So it affects far more than your relationship with any woman or how you look at women. But women are the example I'm using to paint this picture. And if you want to actually deal with this shit and you don't want to be pessimistic when it's all said and done, first thing, you don't want to get into a relationship prematurely. But if you have gotten into a relationship prematurely, start doing deep internal work daily. Get time alone, put time into deep internal work, and it will pay off. But you have to commit for a lifetime, like I said in previous videos. You need that commitment. Your mind has to be able to make that commitment. And you, and only you, are going to know if it's genuine. And if it is a genuine commitment, then you do have a mind that has the capacity to do what is necessary to make sure that you can get yourself to a place of permanent internal peace, which will affect everything around you. But now with me saying all that, let me say this. Life is more than just relationships. Now that's on all fronts. That's in terms of family relationships. That's in terms of friendships. But that's also in terms of romantic relationships. In terms of relationships involving a woman or a man. We're talking about the fact that in terms of peace, in terms of what's to be had at the highest level, relationships should really just be an extension of what you've already created within yourself. Relationships should not be the end-all, be-all. If you're depending on a relationship to bring you happiness, you're already fucked. You have to get the happiness first, and that comes with consciousness work. You put time into the meditation, you do some meditative yoga. If you have to do psychedelics just to get yourself broken out of the concrete nature of a mind that's too fixated on negative aspects of life, then you take those psychedelics, you do what you need to do. And you get yourself to a place where you can do the type of work necessary, so where you're not dependent on relationships in themselves for your happiness. No, let a relationship be an expression of the peace and the joy you feel inside, not what you need to feel peace and joy inside. That's all I need to say on that piece. Now, let's talk about the beat down man and woman. Oh, how depressing that is. Now, what does that look like? Well, it could be a man in his 20s, a man in his 30s, a man in his 40s. And I'm also speaking about women here. And maybe they slouch a little bit. And maybe when they talk, their eye contact isn't very good. And they don't have any command in terms of their tonality, how their voice sounds to others. There's no real sense of confidence and connection to themselves. They're just caught up in the monotony of life, doing one tedious thing after another just to get through. They're living in a state of quiet desperation. And obviously, I don't own that quote, but I don't have the name of the person who does own that quote on the top of my mind. So, in terms of the beat down man and woman, this beat down man and woman needs liquor after a hard day of work, because without liquor, their mind is just going to submit them to an atrocious torture session. It's just endless, one thought after another within, just bombarding their minds like missiles. Just, you didn't do this with your past, you need to do this in the future, you're pathetic, why did you do that? Your dad thinks this about you, your mom thinks this about you, why didn't your mom have your back in this way? Why don't your sisters or your brothers call you? Why didn't your friend invite you to her wedding or her baby shower? And why did your boy invite you out to the bar and chill with the others? Why does everybody seem not to like you? Or why do certain people like you and then they just seem to switch up? Why is it everything so hard all the time? Why is it I'm getting paid less on my job than I used to get paid? Why is it so hard to find a decent job? Why does it have to work so many hours? Why does my boss disrespect me? Why does my family seem to disrespect me? Your mind will use anything as a stimulus to get itself in a frenzy over what's going on in the world. If you're on the left, it'll use right-wing politics and right-wingers. If you're on the right, it'll use left-wing politics and left-wingers. And whatever side you think is more correct, you already know what side I stand on. Those are still thoughts that are bombarding your mind. It wears you down after a while. It wears you down. Because then when you go to work and you deal with the long 8, 9, 10, 11-hour day, all you're looking forward to is leaving your job, going home, sitting on the couch and having a drink. Man or woman. Or maybe you don't want to have a drink. Maybe you just want to sit back and smoke a blunt. Whatever it is, it's still something that you want to do and you look forward to, and it's the highlight of your day. Your highlight isn't just being able to sit on the couch and then take everything in and bask in the beauty of life. That seems like not only a cheesy idea, but that seems like a fictitious idea. There's no way in hell you're going to be able to just sit on the couch and feel that peace. Trust me, you can get that for yourself. See, the beat down man or woman has nothing else other than a little bit of time to get at home with their drink or their blunt, or when they get to sit on the toilet and take a shit before they're going to end their day and go back and do everything all over again. And this is the possible result of getting beat down or worn out with relationships that maybe you should have never been in, or relationships that you are unable to learn from. So put in the work, commit, and you'll be able to get yourself to a place where you'll never deal with these types of issues in relationships, and you could actually have an appreciation for relationships in terms of what they have the potential to be. Relationships can be magical. It may sound cheesy, but it's true. Anyway, that's that. I'm out. We are finally on to trap 10.